Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. This is going to be all about banking. Banking here in Thailand, opening up a bank account and why it's so good to have a bank account over here in Thailand, particularly if you're staying here long term. So what I'm going to go through in this video is we're going to talk about what requirements there are. We'll touch on a few banks, but mostly the topic will be concerning the Bangkok bank, which is what I've been using. We'll talk about the app on the phone, Bangkok Bank, and how useful that is. We'll talk about how you can pay all your bills and do all your shopping and everything by just PayWave type scanning. We'll talk about your passbook, because over here in Thailand you get a savings account passbook, which is updated if you do any transactions in your branch. And that is also very important for if you need to be updating your extension of stay retirement reasons. Okay, so you'll need that updated, which is something I'm going to go do today. You'll also need your passport. Being a foreigner, some form of ID. The best thing to take is your passport, so I'll be taking my passport in. You'll get a card when you join the bank. You'll get a card. There's mine there, and this is just like any other savings debit card anywhere in the world. You can use this to scan and pay for things. To be honest, this rarely leaves my wallet, and we'll explain all that. These days there's no need to even use your card. But the main thing is the app and what you can do with that for bill paying, pay your rent, pay people you know, transfer money across bank accounts, things like that. We'll also talk about using Wise. Wise is my choice when it comes to transferring money. In my case, from my Australian account here into Thailand, I transfer it up into Wise. I leave it sitting in that, and when the exchange rates are looking good, I'll transfer it into my bank account. But if I really wanted to, I could transfer money straight away, and it's within minutes in my account over here. We're also going to go for a walk to the bank because I'm going to put some cash in the bank. Today I've got 10,000 baht I'm going to go throw in my bank account, which is also why I want to update my passbook there as well. Also, there's a few myths about that I've seen recently on some YouTube channels referring to agents, using agents to get your bank account open and what they charge. There's also some talk of insurance, bank insurance, that they're making compulsory for foreigners to have to pay for if you're under a certain age and opening a bank account over here. And I'll find out and I'll let you know about that. Now in the future, if you're watching this video and there's been any changes to the requirements or anything with bank accounts over here, I will make sure that it's noted in the description below the video. If there's anything new, anything updated, I'll make sure it's all put down in the description, so you know that what you're watching here is current and up to date now and maybe in 6 or 12 months from now. If there's any changes, they'll be in the description below. Okay, all right, let's go for a walk and head down to the bank. Here I am, been to the bank. I'm in Nong Khai, which is just about 15-20 minutes down the river from Chiang Mai. And I went to one of the branches there because here's tip number one is the branches usually open around about 8:30 in the morning. But if they're in the big shopping centres like Central Festival and places like that, you got to wait till the centre opens. And they're usually a lot busier. So if you can find a bit more local branch that particularly has someone who speaks English, in my case, it makes all the difference. Fortunately, this one, which I'll leave a Google map link in the description below, all the staff speak very good English and there's no problem. They're happy to help with any questions. Now, so I went there to update my passbook, which they give you, as well as deposit some money and to update my passport details, because a few months ago I had to renew my passport because it was expiring. So I have a new passport number, and those details need to be added onto your account details for the bank. So I went along there with both of my passports So went in there. You walk in there, there's a machine there. Don't forget to take a number, all right? Otherwise you'll be sitting there wasting time as other people are jumping the queue ahead of you because they're taking numbers. So take a number, sit down, and you'll see a monitor up the top and it'll show you when yours is called out. Now you just have to simply go up there, and as I did, showed my passbook and deposited the cash, signed the slip, and you're done. Not a problem. As for the updating of my passbook and my passport, I'll try not to get this confusing for you. I needed to see the branch manager at her desk. So I went back, sat down, and within 5 minutes, and that's the main thing about going to a local branch. Not only are they open early in the morning, they're not as busy. The whole process in there took maybe 20 minutes at the most. So when my number came up, I went over, sat down, gave them my passbook and my passports, both of them, and she was wonderful, no problem at all. She took all the details. She ended up giving me, she said she needed to contact the bank that I originally opened my account with, and that was in Pattaya, all right? So like I said, I'm in Chiang Mai now. I live up here in Chiang Mai. My account I've had for about 3 years now. Oh, and one other thing too is if you deposit money into your bank account or withdraw over the counter, there is a service charge. If you're not using the original bank you opened up at, they'll charge you 30 baht. There's a 30 baht charge over the counter, just so you know that as well. So she contacted the bank down there. I don't know what they spoke about, but it turns out I had to do my autograph on about half a dozen pieces of paper. While we were at it, we also updated my address details, because at the time I went through an agent, okay, and I paid them to open up my bank account, which is an option you have over here. You don't have to do that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So when I did that, which if I remember back in the time, it cost me about 2,000 baht, okay, they put my address as the guest house or the hotel I was staying in Pattaya, all right, because she checked up, and you no longer live here, and I said, no, I live here in Chiang Mai now. So I gave her my new address. She didn't need any proof or rental agreement or anything like that. I just brought it up on Google and showed her my address and gave her my condo number. So she filled all that out on the form for me, which was another little trick I played. Well, it wasn't a trick. I forgot to bring my glasses and I can't see shit. So fortunately for me, she wrote it all up for me, and all I had to do was just sign everything. She's sent all that off, and she says in 3 days, if I come back there, my details of my address will be updated, my new passport details with the new passport number will be on there, and also she'll update the passbook, okay, which is this thing here. So that's my passbook, and as you can see, after the latest transaction, it's right over onto the final page. So that's done. So I'll bring that back in 3 days, and all done. Now, I also asked her a couple of questions, and one was referring to my extension of stay based on retirement that I have to renew when it's due. And I asked her, can I bring it to your branch here for the they have to sign a piece of paper just verifying my account details and an updated statement, which is part of the application with immigration to renew my 12-month extension of stay here. She says, not a problem at all. Just bring it in like a couple of days before you're going to immigration, and they'll do that on the spot for me. Unlike other places where I've heard it can take a few days if you leave your information there and you've got to come back, or you've got to queue up and wait, they'll do it while I'm sitting there in front of her at the desk. So, but if you can get away from the tourist area, if you're in Pattaya or somewhere like that, just try and find a branch just a little bit outside. You'll find that the service is really, really good and a little less busy. As for getting a bank account, I can speak with experience from Bangkok Bank, all right, and what I've heard from the manager of the branch I was just at there, that if you're on a tourist visa or an extension of stay and you're coming over here, my advice would be dress nicely, put on a shirt, long pants, shoes, okay? Look as business-like as possible. Even if you want to throw a tie on, it's all about creating an impression, all right? And if you walk into a branch where they understand English really quite well, and it's not a touristy location, okay, that's the trick, right? All you need to open it is you need a deposit of 500 baht, okay? That's the start with, which is nothing, all right? 500 baht. You'll need to have an address here, okay? That is the tricky part, because you're most likely here staying in a hotel or an Airbnb or something like that. That's the hard part. So what you're going to have to do is, in most cases, use an agent, okay? I'm going to highly recommend using an agent, because it might cost, I don't know what it costs. I mean, I know personally well that up here in Chiang Mai, Thai Visa Assist, which are also down in the description for their link, where I had them do my retirement visa application. They can look after that for you and help you do that, okay? And most agents will, it's not a problem. So other than that, all you're going to need is your passport with your visa stamped in it, and another form of ID. A driver's license is fine, preferably an international driver's license as well, or bank account card from your home country as ID. And go through an agent, that's a lot easier, okay? If you're here and you're on a retirement visa, extension of stay, then you would already, because part of the application of that is to have funds in a Thai bank account. So again, you would go through an agent, or if you want, you could try it on your own. Yeah, I just don't have the experience to tell you that that will or will not work. It's really worth paying an agent to do it for you. You can do it in a day. You can do it in a day, not a problem. They'll do it on the spot. When I was in Pattaya, and we're talking 3 years ago now, I just walked into this visa agent, told them what I wanted on the spot, and then they said, no problem, walked me across the road to the bank, sat down, signed it, put my autograph on about 20, 30 different pages of things, and then walked off with my new card, and my account was open. It's fine. And as you know from what I've just done today, I've updated my details with my passport, updated my address now in Chiang Mai, and everything is fine. And I've had no problem with my account over these years, and it's fantastic. So good luck to everybody who wants to get their account. Now, the other advantage of having a Thai bank account is that these ATMs, you can use any ATM over here, right? And you will get charged a 20 baht fee if you use a non-bank ATM that isn't the branch you're with. I know with Bangkok Bank, if I use one of the Casacorn or one of the other branches, there's a 20 baht. It's less than $1, you know, 80 cents Australian, probably, you know, 60 cents American. I mean, that happens anywhere in the world. I know in Australia you get charged if you're using an ATM, there's a fee there. The good advantage is if you have the app on your phone, Bangkok Bank have this magnificent app on the phone where they have cardless withdrawals, all right? This is why earlier I mentioned I don't take the card out of my wallet, because you don't need to put it in the machine. You use your phone, you open the app, you put in cardless withdrawal, press it on the button on the machine, and it automatically, you choose the amount on your phone, and it does, and then boom, spits the money out to you. And the other thing with ATM machines, and I've had this happen to me twice. One was a few months ago when I was in one of the when I was in one of the shopping centres here. I put my card in one of the machines, and all of a sudden the screen's gone blank and it shut down. And it took my card and didn't give it back. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do now? It was actually a Bangkok Bank machine, but it came up with some maintenance thing on it. And I thought, oh no. And a woman that was standing there saw what happened, and she said, go to the bank upstairs, but I didn't want to leave the ATM machine in case it came back on and spit my card out, and then someone could come and take it. So I waited, and I panicked, and I'm pressing buttons, not helping at all. And then the machine suddenly came back to life and spat my card out, and I'm like, oh, it's a similar feeling to like losing a child in a shopping centre. I just thought, whoa, what am I going to do? So this way with cardless withdrawals, you never need to put your card in the machine. That will only work on that branch. Now, other banks, Capricorn and Siam Bank and the others, I don't know if they have a similar thing. I'm sure they probably do. The other thing is PayWave is what they call swipe here. It's a similar thing. Everything is that way. You open the app on your phone, you scan the QR code, and you pay for everything. And this works in almost everywhere. I will say almost everywhere because 7-Eleven has not implemented it. I don't know the reason why or how that's happened or whatever those circumstances are, and it's a shame because they would certainly do more business, but for 7-Eleven it's cash only. But Tops, Macro, any of the others, you just can pay in there and scan for everything. Same with all the restaurants around here where I am now in the 89 Plaza. I can pay anything. I go buy my coffee at the coffee shop. Again, the card doesn't come out of the wallet. It's just straight off your app on the phone, like PayWave you have in your own country. Okay, simple. There's no fees on any of these either. Okay. The other thing over here with banking is just like in your home country, I'm sure, with the apps, you can pay all your bills. Okay, you can pay everything. I pay my rent when it's due, no problem. Just a few taps on the button and it's done. It even remembers the amount, and I pay that every month. I can pay my internet bill, my phone bill. They all have direct connections through the app for Bangkok Bank. I'm sure they do for other banks as well. You can pay other people and transfer money. You can transfer money between accounts as well into other bank accounts. You cannot transfer money to foreign accounts through the app, but that's where Wise comes in that I mentioned earlier. So I use Wise for all my transactions internationally because it's fast, convenient, and you have the option of having transfers put on hold until the rate is what you want it to be, and it will automatically go at that highest rate. Very handy. I don't use that very often, but for people who are on maybe get pension payments and so forth, and you're not relying on it to come on a certain day each month, you can set that to when the rate hits, say, 23 Australian dollars to the Thai baht, it will automatically transfer the set amount you have across, so you can save a lot of money. Now, there was one thing I wanted to bring up, and that is I've heard recently that there's some talk of some of the banks requiring mandatory insurance you take out through those banks. Now, I know for a fact that this doesn't happen with Bangkok Bank. There is optional insurance, and most banks have these other services that they offer. And actually, the health insurance that Bangkok Bank offers is quite reasonable for the cover you get. That could be a reason for another video in future. But it's not mandatory, and there's no, I think there were some videos out there were mentioning that if you're under 50, which is the retirement age, and you're applying to open a bank account here, you needed to pay thousands for this insurance. I don't know what bank that was about, because I know Bangkok Bank and the Capricorn Bank that I've checked in with don't have such a thing. There is no such thing. So maybe that will come about, I don't know, but I don't think so, because that's pretty restrictive. It's your own savings. It's not like you're getting a credit card or anything. It's your own savings going in there, you know. So I'm sure they're not too concerned about you having life insurance or anything if you don't owe them money on a credit card, you know what I mean? But anyway, if you know of any information about that particular thing, let me know in the comments below. Now, for anyone who's interested in the extension of stay for retirement, also known as retirement visa, I have a video all about that. I'll put a link right at the end of the video of this. So stay there for that. You can click back and watch that video. I want to thank everybody for watching. Don't forget, please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to comment below. I'm looking forward to your comments. And if you have any questions about this, please put them down below and I'll do my best to get the answer or find out the answer. I encourage everybody who's watching this too to read the comments, because maybe you can help out. That's about it. I hope this answered some of the questions for you and took a lot of the stress and worry out of it, because it's really not that difficult. And it's certainly something you really want to do your best to try and have, because it's a really convenient thing to have over here. I'll put other links down in the description below that might be relevant, with links to the Bangkok Bank website and so forth. And thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Okay, bye for now. Cheers.